Tillman. I'm from Genesee Christian School, and I will be doing The Centurion, published by the Christian Life magazine. The parchment scroll lay unrolled upon the table. Its message had been read 100 times by the burning, unbelieving eyes of the centurion Vespasian. The massive mountain of Germania, hemming in the frozen lake on three sides, only heightened a sense of impending doom. With a resolution born of years of faithful military service, he halted the mad tumble of his traitorous thoughts. He paused by his table and read again the message. Vespasian, captain of Nero's prize century, the emperor's wrestlers, be it known to you that your emperor has decreed that all under your command who profess to be Christians are traitors to the empire, and must die by execution from the swords of their fellow soldiers who are faithful to me and to Rome. Nero, Emperor Rome. The emperor's wrestlers. With pride, Vespasian recalled how he and his 100 picked specimens of physical prowess and mental agility had served in the emperor's palace. Each week at the Colosseum Games, their parade around the amphitheater in formation before Nero's balcony had always brought a roar of approval from the thousands of voices. We are the emperor's wrestlers, wrestling for thee, O emperor, to win for thee the victory, and from thee the victor's crown. What sad days indeed were these that had caused the fear-hounded Nero to dispatch his favorite wrestlers into frontline fighting duty in the wilderness above Gaul. And now, after a highly successful campaign, during which 100 hearts had been welded into a common brotherhood, this diabolical order had come. Through the night, Vespasian turned and tossed, pleading with the gods for sleep. But when the morning came, he felt spent and defeated. He rose early and walked wearily to the edge of the ice-bound lake. A few minutes later, he watched with pride as 100 men stood outside their tents in rank. After the usual roll call and inspection, the command to be at ease was given. Vespasian, his heart hammering the inside of his breastplate so that he was sure all could hear, unrolled the scroll and read the message. The silence following was oppressive. You have heard the order of your emperor. You realize, no doubt, the reasons behind this decree. It is high treason to give allegiance to another king than Caesar. This Christ must be renounced, and loyalty to our good and great Emperor Nero be affirmed. All those who are Christians step forward 2 paces. And then Vespasian stood aghast. He counted slowly with a reluctance born of realized fears. 1, 2, 3, 4, and on. 38, 39, 40. 40 men, as close as flesh and blood to him. Did they understand? Had he interpreted the decree all right? Step back in rank. You realize the full impact of this decree? My men, I speak to you as a brother. We have risked our lives for one another 1,000 times. What means this Christ to you? Deny this Christ now. And when Nero's anger has cooled, return to your faith if you will. My men, you cannot break our ranks for a dream. And now, attention. All those who refuse to recant of their faith in Christ, step forward 2 paces. A numbness crept over the centurion, for despite his fervent entreaty, 40 men had again stepped to the front. You have till dusk to reconsider. We will gather in our ranks after the evening meal. Think it over. Reconsider. The next 12 hours were filled with torment. Vespasian thought, as he had thought before, of Christ, who had captured the hearts of his men in more complete bondage than chain or galley. He remembered again the fire in his own soul the first time he heard the story of Christ's crucifixion. The evening meal was over at last. Again, the edict was read. Again, the command for Christians to step forward was given. And again, 40 men responded. Vespasian faced them squarely. I command you, 40 men, to strip yourselves of clothing. And now, I'm going to give a command for you to march out to the center of the frozen lake. The cliffs seal you in. The only escape is through our camp. You will stay out on the ice until you freeze to death, or until you come to your senses and return to the fire we shall keep blazing by the banks for you. March. The men turned. In single file, they made their way to the lake. Suddenly, their voices arose and the wrestlers chant, but the words were changed. 40 wrestlers wrestling for thee, O Christ, to win for thee the victory, and from thee the victor's crown. As the minutes lengthened, the song diminished in volume. The relentless cold was creeping into their very veins and voices, wearing them down, drawing them toward their 0 hour. Midnight came. Vespasian sat forlorn, knowing he could no longer evade the question that had haunted his mind ever since he heard the story of Christ's crucifixion. He knew that this night, he must come to grips with this man who was more than just a man, this man who must be God himself, even as his followers claimed. The voices were almost a whisper now. Suddenly, they stopped altogether. As the centurion rose to his feet and listened, the course began again with a little resurgence of its first power. 39 wrestlers wrestling for thee, O Christ. Only 39? Had one already died? As the centurion watched, out of the blackness crept a solitary, stiff, and almost frozen figure, puffed and blue, so distorted by the cold as to be unrecognizable. The centurion gazed at the miserable man by the fire. Suddenly, in a bright flame of awakening decision, Vespasian tore off his helmet and stripped himself in front of the startled gaze of the men. He could deny Christ no longer. Christ was not a dream, but a reality, one for whom a man could live or die. Across the impenetrable blackness of the night came the chorus that once again, this time led by the full, rich baritone of Vespasian, the Christian. 40 wrestlers wrestling for thee, O Christ, to win for thee the victory, and from thee the victor's crown.